Well, I'm going to give you two words that I heard multiple times throughout the late morning and early afternoon: sad and shocking. Many people say this is, for the most part, a quiet neighborhood, but overall just sadness among many. Well, guys, I was able to actually talk to a couple of the people here last night as investigators were on scene. And I was able to talk to some more neighbors today, and a couple of them did say that they are worried about their safety and perhaps they could be on the move. This line wrapped around the entire building. There are hundreds here. Some people here as early as 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to turn the camera around and give you a live look of what it looks like. They are... This is one of the most energetic and excited groups I have seen in 3 years of covering Black Friday. So this is an unbelievable group. They're excited, they're cold, they're braving the cold. Well, guys, the city is actually on board with this. You can see a sign just like this one right here for the crosswalk. You can also probably see on the ground that the paint is starting to fade. Bridgeport Middle School is one of the schools that has been hit the hardest by this flu outbreak here in Harrison County, and it's leaving many of these desks empty. Barber County Senior Center is cutting the group meal here at the Boffman Towers, but the meal will still be offered at the Barber County Senior Center. A van will pick up residents right here and drive them right here to the Barber County Senior Center. Well, you might recognize this famous scene, but you may also recognize that baby Jesus is missing from the Gracious Living Nursing Home in Fairmont. As you see behind me, no school buses, but I want to show you something. There still are buses here, and the main reason for that: the drivers work other jobs, and it takes time for them to get back here in time for pickup. Lawmakers in Charleston are talking about a 1% increase for teachers, but some we spoke with today say that not enough. They want to see more than just that 1%. Shirley Rice lives in this home across the creek here in Wetzel County. Now, for decades, there was a bridge that stretched right across the creek, but since last month's flooding, that bridge has been a thing of the past. All quiet for now on Frat Row at WVU, and it'll be like that for quite a while. The university putting a hold on social and recruitment activities.
We've watched disturbing behavior continue in some of the fraternities: hazing, alcohol, drug use, sexual misconduct.
Director of Greek Life, Dr. Matthew Richardson, feels this is an opportunity for a clean slate.
If we want to continue to say that we are premier leaders and we shape the future, it's time for us to step up.
Ferris said he understands the positive role that fraternities have in the community, and has spent hours listening to concerns and comments from those part of Greek Life.
There are many great members in the existing fraternity and sorority system. We need to lift them up. When people make bad decisions down the road, how do we empower others to step up and say, no, we're not doing that?
The simple question that some students have is why? Some say this is taking things just a little too far. It's not fair to be punished for what others are doing. But at the same time, others, they say this is long overdue.
As long as I've lived here my entire life, it's very negative.
Justin Click was born and raised in Morgantown, also a graduate of WVU. He says he sees the value in Greek life, but would like to see the negative image vanish.
Greek life, from an outside perspective, is supposed to build character, build your professional skills, and not be this sort of dark culture.
Those part of Greek life questioning the decision. Many have argued that it's not fair to punish everyone when not everyone was necessarily involved.
I don't think it's fair because it was about 2 or 3 fraternities that made the big mistakes that they did, and I think the other 12 or 13 that are still here has to suffer for the rest of the semester. I think that a couple kids just made some pretty stupid and dumb mistakes.
Ferris said the goal is to create a plan for this, which will then be presented to higher-ups at WVU.
She says, grandmother, we lost the bridge.
Tucked away just outside of Pine Grove in Wetzel County, there was once a bridge connecting North Fork Road to Shirley Rice's home.
It's kind of scary.
Just a month ago, devastating floods destroyed part of the county.
It hasn't been easy, but we made it.
It was a morning Shirley remembers quite well.
My daughter-in-law called me and crying, and she said, Cheryl, she said, we're flooded. She says, we're in the house and we can't get out.
She's lived in the home for about 50 years. She thinks back to 1978 when her husband helped build the bridge over Fishing Creek. He passed away last year.
We've had to work for what we got.
Shirley Rice lives in this home across the creek here in Wetzel County. Now, for decades, there was a bridge that stretched right across the creek. But since last month's flooding, that bridge has been a thing of the past.
There's no ambulance. There's no fire trucks. There's no nothing. There's no way in or way out. he showed me how to, start the four-wheeler and run it.
Her son Jeff shares these concerns, not only about the transportation, but also about what they've lost.
I was worried where we was going to go.
On the topic of how to get around, Jeff says there aren't many options.
That's the only thing we got right now. It's either that or walk.
Braving the frigid cold. About 50 soldiers underwent combat medical training near Camp Dawson outside of Kingwood. The purpose, to become more familiar with medic training for those who might be wounded in a combat environment.
They have been in the classroom environment, learning some and actually reinforcing some of the skills that they've already learned as far as tactical combat medicine.
But it could also benefit medics who respond to any sort of situation or disaster where medical care becomes necessary.
This reinforces what they've been learning all week and reinforce the skills that they've already procured over the years.
The different groups went through different training exercises. From wound care to things even more intense.
He's fine, he's talking to you.
So how real does it get? As real as using a Black Hawk helicopter to transport those wounded in combat or any other disaster situation.
That's how you learn the best, because that's what it's going to actually be like when you're downrange deployed. So that's you really figure out how to actually do what you're supposed to do.
A huge portion of the exercise is to give these soldiers the refresher they need in the medic training, which some say is absolutely necessary.
We've been here a week and a half. I feel a lot better. I've learned more, because I've forgotten a lot, so I've learned a lot more, and I feel more confident as a medic.
Thank God everything wound up okay.
You might not think the Dola Dairy Mart is a typical place to give birth.
It was amazing.
But on Wednesday, it was the delivery room for Haley Allen and Joshua Arnett from Wallace.
I was born at the Dola Dairy Mart right in the parking lot in our Uncle Ronald's truck.
Haley and her mother-in-law pulled in at around 2 o'clock on their way down Route 20 from Wallace to United Hospital Center.
I said, I can't make it all the way to the hospital. We're going to have to pull over and call an ambulance. I think he's right there. And sure enough, it was about 15, 20 minutes, and he was out.
About 20 minutes later, Theron Arnett came into the world.
We had a beautiful baby boy, and it was just a miracle.
In the parking lot, with the help of Rebecca Ney,
It happened right out there. Amazing.
the owner of the Dairy Mart.
It really was amazing.
Ney told me she doesn't have any experience as a nurse,
She goes, you've got to help me. You've got to help me. And I said, I will help you.
but has given birth to 2 of her own children. She's been around the Dairy Mart for more than 30 years and says she never expected to ever experience anything so magical. In just those 20 minutes, complete strangers became family.
He's probably going to be, I feel like, one of my family now. Once they turned around and gave him to me, oh, it was just like, you would have thought I was the grandmother.
Haley and Joshua now forever thankful for the generosity of everyone there, and likewise considers them family.
Yeah, that's how I look at her now, as a family member. I mean, I owe his life to her.
And good news for baby Theron.
He'll probably never have to pay for a slush puppy.
Free slushies for life.
For 5 News, I'm Austin Pollack, keeping you connected in Harrison County.